Hi, I've been talking a lot about found family, community, and creating a family within a community that may not be a blood family, but it is definitely your family of people that will look after you, that will have your back, that will watch your six, that will not let anything bad happen to you, that will stand up for you even if you're not in the room. Think about that for a minute. Isn't that a good feeling to know that you have people in your life that will stand up for you even if you're not in the room? That's what we all need. And that's what I'm trying to cultivate and have cultivated, I believe, throughout my life. It's been an interesting journey for me. And I feel like the physicist and I have done that very well. Not to say we don't love the family members that we get to see from time to time, because we do love them too. Looking forward to seeing people overseas that are considered found family and family by blood. And we're looking forward to that. But it's really important to consider who you bring into your world and who you kind of keep on the sidelines, even if you have to keep them in your world, sort of, and who you never let come into your world, or who you move out of their worlds as soon as you can, as soon as life allows you to do it. Sometimes you have to wait until the right moment. So I came across something today as I was doing my morning work and kind of going through my little journals, and I came across something that I had written about 5 years ago. And it says, evolved people choose happiness over drama. Evolved people choose happiness over drama. Now, the flip side of that is people who are unhappy choose drama because they don't know how to be any other way. They need to stir the pot. They need to make things worse for people, not better for people. For whatever reason, that gives them a sense of satisfaction. I don't get that kind of behavior. I don't go out of my way to make people unhappy. I know I've made people unhappy unintentionally, but I would never intentionally go after someone and say, twist things around so that they're like wondering whether or not they're in a fun house full of mirrors. I write a lot about that in my books because my poor little hero right now, he's having some troubles, which I love. But at any rate, how do you find family? Especially if you move a lot like the physicist and I have. Well, you have to kind of put yourself out there. And there were a few things in my world that were in place. My long distance friends, my long distance companions, we have created created ways to communicate where we can support each other long distance. For instance, the life makeover thing that I'm doing with my friend overseas in the Netherlands, that's a way for us to touch base and do something positive and support and uplift each other as we continue to grow and change, even in our 60s. You're never too old to try new things and to grow and to change. So that's one way of doing it. I also have intentional phone calls where I will set up a time to chat with a dear friend that lives very far away from me, but we can talk for an hour to 2 hours and it's like no time has passed. And we can just go over the things that are bothering us and go over the things that we need to uplift us. And we can just be happy in the conversation. And so those are what I like to call my sister friends. And I have quite a few, and I'm really happy that I have them. I'm grateful for each and every one of them. They all bring something unique to the table. I find that texting is okay in some situations, but it's not the same as actually talking to people, because you can really hear the inflection in their voices. You can hear whether or not they're sad, mad, glad, the whole 9 yards. And that's really hard to do when you're on a text. It's just not the same. It's good, but it's not the same. So in developing community, one of the things that I have struggled with is, as a writer and an author, when I moved here, I lost my tribe. I lost my little writer tribe. I lost my Southeastern writer chick tribe. And we're all a little bit older and maybe a bit wiser, maybe a bit more foolish. One never knows how you'll grow and change as you go into your 60s and 70s. So we're kind of at that baseline. And I'm the one that moved. I'm the bad guy because I left because I wanted to get closer to our daughter. Well, me and the physicist wanted to get closer to our daughter. So I left the Southeast. I love the Southeast. And I had made some very, very good writer friends that supported me when I wasn't published, that were there for me before I sold my first book, before I got my first contract. And they have been there for me all along through not just writing situations or bad reviews or yucky contest results. No, they've been there for me in multiple ways where I needed help with things with my family. They've supported me emotionally. They're a wonderful group of friends. I got really lucky. I have one critique partner that lives in the Atlanta area. And she and I do exchange like we do like writer sprints in the morning, which we text each other and say, how are you doing this morning? How many words have you written? How's it going? But over time, we have not been talking as much. And we used to talk, we realized this, 2 to 3 times a week when she was on her way home from work. It was a long commute, happy hour for me, good times. So we wouldn't necessarily get a lot of writing done, but we would get talk about writing done, and we would be energized by that. And that was the whole point. Like something would jump into your head like a nugget that would help you push forward in your story, or help you solve a story problem, or figure out something new about the character. So all of those conversations were productive and led to productive results. And also we just really like each other. So we have now decided we've got to do this at least once a week. We've got to do a FaceTime and talk and just go over the things that we're working on. And it's not always about writing, but you come out of that feeling like you've had the real connection. You know, it's not just like a text to each other. It's a real connection where we've communicated about our families, about our writing, about where we are in our stories. And that's a good thing. And the brainstorming is always fun. And out of that, also, a friend of mine came out from the Southeast. She lives in Alabama. She came to visit me for 4 days after I said, you don't owe me anything for me, you know, reading your fabulous book and pointing out where you could layer in some things, but I sure would love it if you came to see me. And then she did. And we had a ball, lots and lots of fun. And out of that energy, we decided we need to do more of this. This is what we have been missing. We have been missing the writer community that we had. It had been suggested that maybe I mentor people. I've gone to different groups here, and it just didn't work for me because I don't want to start over. I want to work with the people I have that I know that I'm comfortable with, that also were there and had my back before I even sold a book, before I even got a contract. They were there for me, standing up for me, even if I wasn't in the room, and they're still standing up for me. So it's a trust thing. So we decided to do a new group, and we're going to implement it. We have already started it. We have a little text group, and we're going to do Zooms, and we're going to brainstorm with each other at least once a month, and we're coming up with fun ideas of how to communicate with readers and how to communicate with each other and how to have fun again, because it's a very, very lonely business. When you're an author, a writer, you are sitting alone in a room by yourself. I don't care if you're in a coffee shop or if you're in a library where there's other people, you are alone in your head. And when you're alone in your head, you don't get a lot of social time. It's actually sometimes harder to write because you need some interaction. It can't just be your husband or your kids. It's got to be beyond that. So speaking of it being beyond that, that's where my really good friends come into play, because having those relationships and conversations with them helps me become a better writer, because I'll hear things, get the support, and it just energizes me in a positive way. The other thing that I have noticed is, since my surprise announcement a couple of weeks ago, I told you I signed a contract with Entourage Modeling and Talent Agency. Well, I started an acting class, and it's a Zoom acting class once a week with a wide variety everywhere. Everyone is from a teenager up to 70 years old, so it's pretty cool. And it's a very unique format. I really like it. But the best part about it is this is a new community for me, where we're only thing we have in common is we want to act or learn how to act or learn how to do it better, learn how to do better auditions, etc. And I am like this teeny tiny. I've only done 3 auditions in my life, taped auditions. Maybe it's been 4 now. And it was hard because I have to figure out how to use all this equipment in different ways. And I still haven't figured out how to do a long body shot. More about that later. So out of that group, we have a text group as well. And so I was like, I did this thing. I did this audition, but I'm still having trouble doing a long body shot. And somebody piped in and said, oh, you could maybe try this, this, or this. So we're supporting each other. The other bonus of it is my writing actually got better because I'm so excited about doing this other new fun thing and meeting new fun people that my writing is actually going well. And it's because my brain is getting pop full of positive energy. And that's what I need, is positive energy. I have no room in my world for drama. I mean, like, I don't want people to create drama in my world, and I don't want people to say they don't want drama in their world because they just don't want to handle the drama that their people created. That kind of thing, you know? Like, I don't want to deal with that. I just want to have fun. And so that's what we're doing. And we had a ball. My friend and I got to go see some touristy things around the area. We went to Georgetown, historic Georgetown. We went to the Oasis overlooking Lake Travis. It was a glorious day. We went downtown. The physicist drove us. He was great. He was so nice. And he showed us everything. Like, my friend has never been to Austin before, so it was wonderful. And then we wrote in the mornings, and we wrote And we talked about writing, and we had lots of late night conversations. Something else I haven't had a lot of, because the physicist and I usually don't stay up till midnight, but we did this time because we were excited and energized, and we all had things to bring to the table of the conversation, and it was fun. And that's the key word, having fun. And I'm having fun. So I think that's really important, to build a community that you trust, and to build multiple communities if you can. If you're a more introverted person, then you might not need as much social. I'm kind of a weird introverted extrovert. Like, I need my downtime, but I also need my people time. It's just, I want my people time to be quality people time. I don't have time for the cocktail side of life anymore. I don't have time. I'm getting older as I speak to you right now, so I don't have time for any of that. So one of the things that is very important to me is to maximize the positive relationships, minimize anything that's negative, and hopefully eliminate most of it. And also use those positive interactions to feed my soul so that I can be a better author, a better writer, a better friend, a better wife, a better mom, all of the things. And I have a few different communities beyond just writer world, my long distance world. I also have my Zumba world, which I'm going to slowly get back into. I had to kind of stop doing it because of my neck and my shoulder. So that's changing. So I'm going to get back into some of the classes at my gym and get with some of my friends that are my gym friends. And then I have my acting friends, well, acting group, and I hope that we can be friends. And I have my writerly friends that we have created, the Southeastern Chicks. We're calling ourselves the Word Birds because we're going to be flying a little bit to see each other. And it's just a fun little goofy little name, and I think it's cute. So we're also experimenting with different ways to support each other in that way. And I also have a group of friends here that I developed over the last 3 or 4 years since the pandemic ended, and we get together. We're all about the same age, so we have that in common, and we don't all have the same interests. That's what makes it so cool, because I don't want to just hang out with people who do the same thing as me all the time. That would be boring. I want to do things with people who are interesting, and I'm interested in what they're doing. Like, I have a friend that does pottery. I have another friend that does really amazing photography in Virginia. I have another friend that, does dancing stuff. I have so many friends who have so many different interests that it makes my life more full to hear and see what they're doing, and to encourage them in what they're doing as well. And they support me too. I'm the one that's hiding in my room, writing all the time, but it's fun to get together and share our interests. And also we have a few other things in common that bring us together as far as where we sit on certain situations. And so we can talk openly and freely with each other. And that's important, because trust is so important in relationships. And I have a big bar for trust. Like, as soon as my trust has been broken, it's probably not going to be restored, because I have I call it my 3-strike rule. And there are very few people who get more than 3 strikes. My mom, because, she had me, and she had a difficult childhood because she was in a concentration camp. So she gets a bye, okay? Like, that doesn't mean that we didn't have our down times, because we did. But ultimately, she's my mom, and we come full circle. And I feel like she deserved the extra strikes at the home base, because she is my mom. And there's a few other people that get them, but for the most part, I have a 3-strike rule. And once you burn me a 3rd time, that's it. I mean, I'm forgiving, but only to a point. Because if you keep letting people walk all over you and treat you like dirt, then you're hurting yourself. You're hurting the very thing that your soul is in. You're hurting your own soul if you let them do that. And I refuse to let people do that to me. I can be around them if I have to be, for whatever. But I don't have to trust them anymore. I don't have to give them what's most essential about me as a human being. I don't have to do that. I can keep that to myself and just play nice in the playground for as ever long as I need to. And then I can just move out. A little bit of housekeeping stuff. I am busy making videos. I'm trying more shorts. I'm playing around with TikTok. We'll see how that rolls. I don't know what I'm doing, but I didn't know what I was doing when I started writing books all these years ago. It took me a while. And for me, ultimately, what the most important thing is in my author life is that I try to write the best book I can. And then I worry about marketing it. I mean, I kind of worry about marketing it before, because I'm thinking about the tropes and all of those things. But ultimately, it's the writing, it's the craft. It's still very important to me. And I like being around people who think that way. And I like my little word birds for that, because we're going to do those kind of things. And there's going to be some fun little snippets coming into this vlog over the word birds and our little adventures. We still know how to have fun. We're girls and we still know how to have fun. I think that the most important takeaway I have from all of my reading this morning and all of my time inside my journaling is really that evolved people choose happiness over drama. Choose happiness. Live life. Have fun. Don't worry about everything. Build your community of support. Have multiple ways of getting that support. Inform your body and your soul in a way that makes you happy and good, and to try to be the best person that you can be, so that you can offset what the people who aren't happy are doing to other people, and you can be stronger for them. I hope you have a great week. I hope that you enjoyed this little video, and I'll see you again.